I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Did the CIA write Wind of Change by the Scorpions?
As humans busied themselves about the various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
Dr. Loeb, what percentage chance do you give it that you have indeed uncovered extraterrestrial or non-human technology?
With infinite complacence, people went about their affairs, yet across an immense ethereal gulf, intellects vast and unsympathetic drew their plans against us.
All of a sudden, a stick out of nowhere landed right in front of us, and there was no tree, nothing overhead. Something threw it at us.
Yeah.
All Things Unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, will save for closed session.
All Things Unexplained is free to watch on YouTube and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to support our show, you can visit our YouTube store. Additionally, you can find us on Venmo under All Things Unexplained. Be sure to check out our website, allthingsunexplained.com. All proceeds from the sales of Dr. Mounce's books on Amazon and Audible also go straight to our show.
I think we connected a lot easier this time than we did last time. I think that could be because Mr. J and Smitty are out of here. We'll see.
Yeah, they're not bringing us down this time.
Their internet's not bringing us down. They
Right,
are
that's what I
actually
meant. That's
great people,
obviously.
so.
That's what I meant. Yes.
We're gonna get things started.
All right. Well, welcome all of you unexplained ones out there. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that are joining us for the second time for our special guest, Lucy Castle, we certainly appreciate you. We're getting lots of hellos from all over the place, Canada, New Jersey. We are so happy to have everybody with us again. And those of you that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. I am CJ Dearinger here with Dr. Mounce. We are missing Smitty Neves today, but you got a little taste of him last time, and I'm certainly happy to be back this time around. So, Lucy, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me back.
Yay.
Yes.
So, I have to say that, CJ, I prepared a special drink for myself in honor of so many listeners in the UK today. So I prepared my version. Check this out. Of a Pim's cup.
So is that something that people actually drink there? I mean, Tim's been very into it recently with the British Open and Wimbledon. Do people actually drink Pim's cups in the UK?
They do, yeah.
Oh, boom. There we go. So, this is supposed to be the epitome of British eccentricity here. So I've got a giant cucumber from my garden in there. I've got it loaded down with strawberries and who knows what else is in there. But I actually made these for the first time ever this weekend, believe it or not. We had an unexplained get-together, a little unexplained party. And CJ was there. And Larry, our intro man and exit man, he was there and he got to try one. And so it went over so well. I liked it so much. I said, we got Lucy Castle on with us again. I need to make one for today.
Yes. Well, it looks very tasty. Wish I had one. This is one of the drawbacks of doing things remotely is that you couldn't make me a drink as well, but all good. I'll be okay. So last time you guys recorded the show, we had some technical difficulties. We're hoping to avoid those this time around because, Lucy, you had so many interesting things to talk about, and we are dying to kind of rehash some of those and dive into some new things as well. So let's just jump right in to what got us together, which was your UFO sighting. And tell us a little bit about that day, what you saw, and what you remember from it.
30th of May of the sunset. So I went upstairs to my bedroom to take some better pictures. And I was clicking away, and that's where I saw the Tic Tac UFO just hovering. So I managed to take some pictures, and with a blink of an eye, it just disappeared again.
So that sunset in and of itself looked pretty phenomenal. Is that typical of something that you would see where you lived? Is it always that bright and colorful?
No, if it's a really hot day, yes, like it has been, like a very fiery sky.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you looked up, you're looking at the sunset, and you see this object in the sky. How long would you say that it was in your view?
About 40 seconds.
Oh, okay. That's longer than I thought, actually. So you pulled out your phone and you caught this picture, and then what happened next?
Well, I took a picture, and it was still hovering for an extra 20 seconds after I took the picture. And with a blink of an eye, it just gone so fast. I didn't even see what direction it went, what maneuver it took. Just gone. Amazing.
Oh gosh, Tim, what that reminds me of is we had a girl named Tanya on the show a few months back, and she had her own UFO sighting back in 2002, I think it was. And she said the same thing. She was looking at, hers was far bigger than what you saw, but she was looking at it, and with a blink of an eye, gone. She couldn't tell you what direction it went, left, right, up, down, what have you. It just was gone, as if it vanished in midair. Is that what this felt like too? It just sort of vanished from your view?
Yeah. They probably just switched the dimensions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
That's a great point.
So fascinating.
And there's a lot of theories about that, about their ability to disappear. And some of the most common ones are, they're defying our current technological laws of physics in ways that we nor any other country that we know of can duplicate. Or they have some sort of cloaking technology that enables them to disappear from our most advanced sensors at the moment. And so perhaps they're just allowing us to see them in some moments. But Lucy, that's a great point, because we've heard this theory before, and I think it's a terrific theory, that they could just be shifting dimensions and moving from our dimension of our current senses, and just instead of actually moving away, they're just teleporting or transporting to a different dimension. And that also would certainly explain their ability to just completely disappear.
Yeah. So one thing that really fascinated me about all of this actually is you, Lucy. You take this picture, and now if you search Lucy Castle on the internet, there are thousands of links and articles to your picture. So after you took the picture, where did you publish it? How did this get picked up by the Associated Press and spread all over the world?
I follow a lot of UFO pages in the UK, and I put my story on there, just talking about it. And it was actually someone stole my story and picture and sold it to the national newspapers.
Oh no!
What? They sold it?
Yeah.
Why does that
they got
not
money
surprise
for it?
me?
Yeah.
Somebody got money for your picture?
Yeah.
That is so frustrating.
That's just wrong.
Oh my goodness. So how did you get your face out there? How did you make it known that actually you're the one that took this picture and shared the story?
Well, I had loads of contact, people contacting me, different newspapers are talking about it with me, emailing me, and I just told them the truth, and it went from there, and it's just escalated, and it seems to be, this story is everywhere now, all around America, I think. Yeah, it is America.
It is.
I remember seeing a newspaper. Yeah.
I mean, that's how we found you. Tim found the article and posted it to our Facebook page. So it's definitely made it to the United States and all over the world. I mean, what do you make of all of that? Here you probably went one day from just eating, cereal in your pajamas to the next day you've got your name all.
CJ, we missed most of that. You're having some technical difficulties there. But we had a great comment here from listener Amy Tomzak. She says she had a sighting here in Durham a few months ago. And Amy, I do not think that's Durham, North Carolina. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think that she said that's Durham, California, I think. But it could be Durham, Canada even. But she went out to check the gates and the horses at sunset, and it was hovering above our property for several minutes. I could see the distortion field around it. And wow, what a great story. Amy, I would appreciate if you would reach out to us on social media or send us an email about this incident. Thank you. Durham, California, she said. And CJ, you're from Durham, or California, I should say. Do you know where Durham is?
No, I had never heard of Durham, California. In fact, when I saw that she said Durham, I thought North Carolina, where we are. So no, very new to me. But can you guys hear me okay now?
Yep, we can. And that distortion field she mentions is very interesting. That seems to support the two theories of either cloaking technology or moving into another dimension. So just a tremendous listener story there about her encounter. I've encouraged her to message us. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Lucy Castle. She is originally from Cornwall in the UK, works as a dietary consultant and nutritionist, but also, and this is where the news just kind of, left her story, but she's also a light warrior / starseed, and she encountered a Tic Tac UFO, which was very reminiscent of the USS Nimitz's encounter off the coast of San Diego in 2004. CJ, do you remember that story?
Oh, I do. And that story has really made a comeback too. In fact, maybe it's only just now being released as they've been authorized to share the information. And so I've watched several videos on that pilot. And there were two pilots, actually, I believe, that have discussed it. And it's so fascinating. Their story is really incredible.
Oh, yeah. So the video of that incident, I believe was actually out for a fair amount of time. But like a lot of
I haven't
things,
seen the video. I didn't see a video of it. I've just heard them talking about it.
Well, you need to watch it. I'll put it up on our social media, and you can find us on Facebook at All Things Unexplained Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at All Things Unexplained Podcast, Twitter, AT Unexplained. We're also on Reddit, but I'll put it up on our social media. And so, yeah, this video, so they had video of the encounter, right? And, of course, like lots of things, the video is just out there. It was released by a whistleblower, if you were. And nobody really took it serious, right? But then so many people kept honing in on it, and so much more kept being released. And then all of a sudden, the Pentagon said, yes, this is actually video from our pilots of their encounter with an unexplained aerial phenomenon, or a UFO as it were. And it was the pilots themselves that originated the term the Tic Tac UFO, because in their opinion it looked like the Tic Tac, the candy that was at least popular here in America. I have no idea if it was popular in the UK, but just kind of an elongated oval, if you were, a sort of a oval prism, I guess, with no visible means of propulsion or anything else. And these pilots tracked it on their sensors for quite a while until, guess what? It disappeared. Just suddenly disappeared. And boom, it was gone. So tell me, and the interesting thing about that is, that was in America, of course, off the coast of San Diego, so off the West Coast over the Pacific. But we have a very hard time disseminating credible stories from other countries, right? So it's hard to know, is this just a phenomenon with our military and with the U.S., or does it happen in other places? And Lucy, that's what's great about your story, is it actually gives confirmation to us that this sort of phenomenon is happening around the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, is the UFO phenomenon as big where you are as it is here? Because everybody's talking about it now. Ever since I started this podcast, I have friends, family, everybody sends me all of the UFO stories that come out online or on the news. Are people very into it there too?
They are more than ever now because of this disclosures coming, and there's more sightings, so more people are talking about it.
Yeah. So this is the question I was trying to ask earlier. Did you ever foresee yourself being in such limelight? I mean, did you go from just being an average person every day to suddenly you have this experience and you post a picture and now every news outlet, internet website has your name on it? How do you deal with that?
No, I just can't answer that.
It's just a wild ride, huh?
And I'd like to chime in here, CJ. We've got a lot of listeners commenting with their own personal encounters and stories, like Amy Tomzak, who told us about her encounter in Durham, California, which I would love to hear more about. Amy, you can also send us an email at allthingsunexplainedpodcast@yahoo.com. Also, if everyone would visit allthings-unexplained.com, you can find links to all our social media and our email, allthingsunexplainedpodcast@yahoo.com. Amy, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk more about this fascinating story.
You know, the one site you forgot to mention, Tim, is the most important, which is buymeacoffee.com/unexplained. All of our shows are free. If you are watching now, we don't charge for any of our podcasts, any of our shows. The only way that we can keep this going is through listener support. So if you do enjoy our show and if you are up for donating or buying a tired mama a coffee, you can visit our website, which is buymeacoffee.com/ or did I get that right, Tim? I feel like I messed that up.
Say it again.
Buymeacoffee.com / unexplained, right?
That's it, /
Okay.
unexplained. As a matter of fact,
definitely buy you a coffee.
What's that?
That's amazing.
I said, I'll definitely buy you a coffee.
As a tired mama of 3, it is appreciated.
And I have to say that I am addicted to coffee. I drink so much of it all day, all night, just to keep up with two little kids. Why I waited so late in life to have a 7-year-old and 4-year-old, I don't really know. But I'm currently upstairs in my studio. Our unexplained air conditioner is out. I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but I'm on the 3rd floor of the Unexplained Studios. And I had to make me an ice-cold Pimm's cup to go with today's episode because it is hotter than the 20th level of Dante's Inferno up here. It is... Was that another British reference? It is hot up here. So I'm trying to disguise the sweat pouring off my forehead right now and trying to mask it with this ice-cold drink.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Well, so last time you guys did this show, I was sort of behind the scenes. I have a newborn baby who you all will hear very soon, I'm sure, and probably see at some point. But I was blown away, Lucy, by your supporters. I could not believe how many people were just sending positive vibes and love, and we're here for you, and we're proud of you, and you're amazing. I'm like, I need this. Yeah. I just need people saying this to me as I live my daily life raising my kids. And so we learned that you are it's a light warrior, right? And a starseed. These were all terms that were very new to me. And for those that are listening the first time, would you explain a little bit about what light warriors are?
Well, starseed light warriors are those who know they are multi-dimensional beings. And there's more to life what we see on Earth. We know that it's more than just mind and body at the same time. Journey where our soul origins are from. We're connected to crystals, stars, plants, Mother Earth, everything around us. And we assist Earth using our light.
It's wonderful, and it just seems like everybody who is involved is very positive, very full of love. For somebody that that your message resonates with, that's watching this right now, that thinks they want to get involved, what would be the first step? Where could somebody go to learn more about becoming a light warrior?
Well, it comes from your actual soul origin. There's 140,000 star seeds on Earth, and it's ones that don't fit in. Then they just know from here. And if they find out they're a star seed, then they'll find out their own missions and their soul journeys, and more comes them about themselves more. And it's great for your body to receive lessons in your soul growth as well. Now you're chosen to be here for your soul mission and connecting with star families.
And one interesting thing I learned, CJ and Lucy, about star seeds and light warriors is this connection with the Pleiadian star cluster, which we can go outside on a clear night and actually see for ourselves. I believe is connected with the Taurus galaxy or Taurus galaxy. And I had a little something fun here. I thought that we could have a little quiz. I thought that if CJ and Lucy were up for it, we could play a little quiz about, are you a starseed, a Pleiadian starseed? And this will give our listeners a little chance to find out.
There might be some baby crying in the background, but I'm up for it.
Hey, that's okay. I think that it's part of the challenge. This will give our listeners some great insight into, could they be a Pleiadian starseed? What makes a Pleiadian starseed? So, here we go. CJ.
Sorry, you keep freezing on me again.
Oh, sorry about that. So, I would say that I'm going to try a little quiz here. So, I've got a little quiz that helps people determine if they could be a Pleiadian starseed. And this whole term Pleiadian comes from the Pleiadian star cluster I discovered, which if we go out on a clear night, that I believe we can actually see. And Amy Tomzak says, I would love to talk with you further, Lucy Kessel. And we're actually going to try to take some listener calls, as it were, and let you join the broadcast a little bit later. So remember that, Amy. So let's talk about what makes a Pleiadian starseed. I've got 21 or 22 different things. So I'm going to see between CJ and Lucy and myself about us. Now, we already know about Lucy, but we don't know about CJ yet, but I've got my guesses. So number one,
All right.
The number one trait of a Pleiadian starseed, sensitive. You feel more sensitive than other people. You may have been told to toughen up as a child or were called a crybaby. You're sensitive to other people's emotions and needs.
My dad definitely wants me to toughen up. I would say I am not as emotional about myself, but I do think I feel sensitive to other people's emotions and needs, for sure.
Very interesting. And now that you say that, number 3 on our list of Are You a Pleiadian Starseed? And by the way, listener Trent Leonard says, I am thinking something right now, Dr. Mounce.
Yeah, it's probably not very nice. We can read that at least.
I don't know. I'm just the host. So, I'm glad you're thinking, though. That's a good start to a successful future. Number 3 on our Pleiadian Starseed list here. Intuitive. Pleiadian Starseeds tend to be intuitive. You often have a gut feeling that you just can't explain. It feels intense at times. You feel anxious when you don't listen to it. You lean towards operating with your heart and not your head. It kind of makes me think about CJ. Lucy, do those things sound familiar? Yep. So we're right on the money here.
Yes. I use my intuition for absolutely everything.
Oh, that's a gift, for sure. I question my intuition a lot. I do. I have a lot of it.
Question it.
And intuition
also, I'm
is
sleep deprived, so that could be
You know, I think sleep deprivation is supposed to make you get more in touch with your intuition, but I do think that intuition is one of those ancient forms of knowledge that we've just kind of gotten out of tune with over the centuries, over thousands of years, right? Like, I highly suspect that our ancient ancestors possessed a lot more ability to be intuitive with each other and their environment than we have in our technological world. You know, we're so used to, hey, how does this work, or how do we do this? Let's find it on YouTube, right? And follow the step-by-step directions.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't exactly call that intuition, but that's kind of just the modern way of doing things. So when I hear about people with intuition, real intuition, you know, it makes me think of the ancient ways, and I'm really happy to hear about those things, because we couldn't have gardens, we couldn't have a successful society, in my opinion, without those things.
Right. Well, everything has gotten so specialized too. Everybody does their one thing and they do it well, and they don't really use intuition anymore. Doctors aren't told to use their intuition. They're told to use their medical knowledge of what they've learned, and they probably don't know as much about other things as, you know, people did in the past. Like you said, everybody just knew everything that they needed to survive, and we've gotten so specialized that I think it puts us out of touch with our intuition. We're not allowed to use it as much anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And I love this comment by listener Linda Zimmerman. Your first thought, your gut feeling is always right. You know, it reminds me of a famous quote by a famous general, General Patton. He said one time, you know, a good idea now is a lot better than a great idea later. So definitely pays, I think, to go with your gut instinct.
Yeah. Every time I've second guessed my gut, I've been wrong. My gut instinct was always right. And then I change it at the last second, and then it's wrong.
Oh, for sure. And we're talking with Lucy Castle, UFO witness, Pleiadian Starseed, light warrior, from the UK. I can't pronounce the name of her town, I don't think, but I'm going to try it. Leicestershire. Did I butcher that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lucy, what's the name of the town that you're from?
Sorry, you froze again. What was that?
Said, what's the name of the town where you're from?
Leicestershire.
Ah, Tim used his intuition there. It didn't go so well.
I know. I used my intuition and tried to pronounce it like a sauce I like Leicestershire sauce. So we'll just go with the UK for a little while. But we're talking to Lucy Castle, like I said, UFO witness, Starseed, light warrior from the UK. Thanks to all of you for joining us. You know, this podcast could not be possible with listeners like you. Please give us a follow and a 5-star rating and a review. Wherever you listen to podcasts, our interviews with Lucy will become podcasts that go out all over the world. So please follow, review, give us a rating, 5 stars. We appreciate all of you.
Yeah, if it's not 5 stars, just don't bother.
You can actually hold on to those 1 stars for a little longer. I'm suspicious of some of our listeners. Trent Leonard, he might have some 1 stars under their belt, but they could just hold on to those. Number 4 on our quiz of could you possibly be a Pleiadian Starseed? Starseeds are amazing communicators. Pleiadians have a way with words. They naturally command charisma and charm, but in a gentle, wise, non-manipulative way. And I have to say, honestly, that in my interaction with Lucy Castle, who's been kind enough to join us again, this time without all the technical difficulties that Smitty and Mr. J, our military consultant, brought, she is nothing if not charming, charismatic, gentle, and wise, and I have not sensed any sort of manipulation from you at all, Lucy.
Thank you very much.
You're very genuine. Now, If I ask CJ, what do you think, CJ? Do you match this category of, are you a Pleiadian
I
Starseed?
mean, it's not every day that I call myself charming and charismatic, but sure, yeah, I'll take it. No, I do think that I tend to be a good communicator. I love to write. I like to be on this podcast. I enjoy other people. I enjoy communicating with other people. So sure, I think I fall under that category a bit.
Oh, awesome. And just so our listeners know, we fully intend to just address some listener questions at some point, just devoted to nothing but listener questions. And we may even invite some people to join us on air for a little while until we move on to the next listener or to a break. Listener Sandra says, I have all of those characteristics we've talked about so far. Sometimes she drives her family crazy, but she doesn't want to stop to help other people because that's her mission. Oh, she doesn't want to stop with the characteristics. I might have said that a little wrong. And not just people, but all the living
She does want
things.
to stop and help other people.
I get it now. It reminds me of, you know what, I was riding my bike around the neighborhood. I like to do extreme biking on the sidewalks in my subdivision. And I noticed a little traffic jam at the entrance to the neighborhood. I call it extreme dad biking. I've got a few videos out there, but I noticed a little traffic jam to the entrance of our neighborhood, and I just thought, what in the world is going on here, so I gotta stop, check this out. Kind of like one of my favorite movies, The Burbs, except it's not Halloween. I gotta kind of be in tune what's happening in the neighborhood. And traffic was stopped for a turtle trying to get across the road into our neighborhood lake. And I thought, wow, this is pretty great right here. You've got multiple cars stopped, lots of people getting out to help the turtle. Thank goodness it wasn't a giant snapping turtle from the other lake that could have ended badly for someone.
Scott, what was my magic trick?
It just froze up again.
Yeah, I think we actually got disconnected. I'm going to blame this on Great Britain's satellites who keep interfering with our broadcast. But yes, apparently CJ did some sort of cool magic trick.
Oh, nursing is a pretty great magic trick. Also, can you guys hear Colt snoring? I'll have to put him down, I think, but it's just so sweet.
I actually thought that was CJ snoring, but I didn't want to say anything.
So did we get disconnected from Facebook Live or just from each other for a moment?
Well, we're live again, but we definitely got disconnected
Okay.
from Facebook Live. And here is your magic trick, CJ. Are you ready? And 3, 2, 1.
So.
Apparently not everybody knew there was a baby hiding under there.
Yes.
To be fair, that did just kind of look like a cool alpaca poncho you were wearing. It could have come from my favorite seller of alpaca goods, but I can't remember their name. What are they called, CJ?
What's that?
My favorite seller of alpaca goods in California.
Oh, yes, they are KT Lee Ranch alpacas. KT-Lee Ranch alpacas. Yep, the letter K, the letter T, -Lee, Lee alpacas.
Lee alpacas, great. So it could, all of a sudden you're wearing a cool KT Lee alpaca poncho. Next thing you know, boom, there's a baby.
Super skill set right there.
So I want to move on to, what makes a Pleiadian light warrior starseed. And CJ, what do you think about this? They tend to have a strong sense of purpose or an unfulfilled purpose. Pleiadian starseeds often have a strong drive and devotion to their reason for being.
I'm going to let Lucy go first. Do you feel like you have that drive, Lucy?
We are all Pleiadians.
You froze up on
That
us
cut
a
out
little
on me a
there.
little bit. I didn't catch.
Lucy, could you say that one more time?
Yes, us Pleiadians are here to help consciousness evolution journey, and our mission is to support mankind to understand that we're all one. We're all pure consciousness together as one.
That's terrific. And we're talking to Lucy Castle from the UK. She is a UFO witness of a Tic Tac UFO. She is a Pleiadian.
Oh, no.
And we're back. We're back. I was just commenting on listener Betty Clarkin's Gandhi quote. Great quote, Betty. Couldn't agree more. We're back with you on Facebook Live with Lucy Castle from the UK, UFO witness, Pleiadian Starseed. She's been kind enough to join us again and pick back up where we left off with our last Facebook Live. CJ Dearinger's joining me. I have to say, thanks to the listeners like you, this podcast is possible. If you're interested in how you can support this podcast, maybe you would like to buy CJ a coffee to help her stay up just an extra hour later. She's got a lot of kids there, newborn. Then you might want to visit buymeacoffee.com/unexplained. Everything is tremendously appreciated. I cannot say that enough. Now, this next aspect of Pleiadian Starseeds and Light Warriors, I think is so appropriate for this moment. Thank you, listener Betty Clark, and thank you so much for tuning in. This next aspect of what typically we see in a Pleiadian Starseed, nurturing or motherly by nature. Suddenly, I feel really out of place in this broadcast. It says you've most likely been called the mother of the
absolutely.
group. Yep, you have nurturing qualities. You offer kindness, warmth, and an aura of trust to others. You can be a male, it says, and still have feminine energy, which is a good thing. Meanwhile, I'm literally going to scroll to my left and let CJ and Lucy take over this part of the show.
Well, I have to admit, I feel pretty motherly at the moment. But Lucy, would you say that your family and friends can be motherly?
We're very nature loving, nurturing. We love to look after everyone. And we have this thing about us where we have to look after everyone, even though we don't have to. It's like we need to. It makes us feel complete. It makes us feel good.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely feel that. I constantly want to be taking care of others. I don't feel fulfilled unless I'm helping others in some way.
All right, I'm back. Did you two straighten that out?
Yep, we got it. We've got the motherly covered.
Okay, good. All right, I wanted to comment on listener Luisa Almeida's comment. I think this was a typo, but I might have mentioned that the air conditioners broke down in the Unexplained studios here, and I'm on the 3rd floor, and we all know heat rises, and it's the middle of a North Carolina summer. And the listener, Luisa Almeida, said, "Loving blessings to melt this recording freeze." I'm melting. Let me tell you, melting up here.
I have to believe that we keep freezing because Lucy has so many supporters. We're literally breaking the internet with everybody's comments and all those
that's
that
really
are
true.
watching.
That's really so true. I also want to highlight this next comment by a listener, Sandra Puljak. Sorry if I said that wrong. She says, "Thank you to all of us. She has experience with dragons, fairies, all forest creatures, Lemuria, and Atlantis." Now, I'm so glad she said that because one of the characteristics... Sorry, I just spilled something. And I'm going to let you take over for just a minute, CJ, after I say this. One of the characteristics of Pleiadian Starseeds is a deep connection, a unknown connection they can't explain with sea creatures, particularly dolphins and whales.
What is your experience with that, Lucy?
Yes, that's correct. Dolphin and whales and mermaids, actually.
I love mermaids. So do you just have sort of a love for those types of animals? Do you spend time, watching those animals, going on whale watching expeditions, or what would you say is your connection to those?
It's like a part of your consciousness and your soul. Dolphins, whales, mermaids, you have this love and connection with them.
Oh, I will tell you, I don't know so much about brought me greater joy. And I went to school in Santa Barbara and used to surf. And when I would be out there surfing, sometimes whales would come by. And that was just the most magical experience to have something so large and majestic that close by. It was scary at times, but so beautiful to be that close to whales in the water. I just love it.
So I have to say I did not know this before I started researching, but Pleiadian Starseeds, Pleiadians, it is believed, were one of the first beings to populate the long-lost land of Lemuria, which listener Sandra Puchak pointed out. Lemuria was said to be a water continent on Earth full of marine animals, and Pleiadians might find themselves loving dolphins and whales in particular. So tremendous comment there, Sandra.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons with dolphins, mermaids, whales.
That is my first time hearing of that. You said you learned that in your research too, Tim?
That's right. I also learned that Pleiadian starseeds tend to be strongly, and I think we hit upon this, strongly empathetic. Not only are you able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, but you can literally feel what they're going through. And I've told this story before.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and so, Lucy, does that sound familiar to you?
Yes. That's probably one of the difficult energies that I deal with. If I see someone upset, I get upset. If I see someone cry, I start crying. It's like I feel their energy. I feel their emotions. And it gets quite difficult sometimes.
I was
I just
going
want
to say
everyone to
that
be
would
happy.
be incredibly difficult. That would be so difficult to feel that, to feel all of those emotions. That's really intense.
It is. If I see people upset, I get upset because I love people being happy. I love people laughing and enjoying themselves. If they're not, I get upset and I feel their emotions at the same time. It can be quite daunting.
Yes.
My mom experiences that a bit, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she really feels other people's suffering like it's her own.
It's funny you should say that, because your mom just happened to be on a All Things Unexplained golf retreat recently. And I noticed we had two different groups of us, two groups of three. I noticed every time I shanked one in the woods or the lake that she really also seemed to take it to heart. Like, it seemed to genuinely bother her, because it definitely it was traumatic for me. She could have been replicating, unconsciously replicating my terrible shots.
Yep, sounds like.
Right. That makes me feel better. And I've told this story. Right. And I've told this story before when my son was in daycare. I guess he was about 3 or 4 years old. His teacher wanted to speak to me one day, and she said, it's so interesting. They have this group of, that they're all friends, and when one of them gets hurt, they all gather around and they are all sad and they are all hurting, with the one that whatever incident actually happened to, and that just broke my heart hearing that. And it also made me realize that I think that as adults, we kind of lose touch with those inner childhood capabilities that we have in terms of being empathic.
You've definitely lost it. You've lost it for sure. Some of us have retained it. Yours is gone. It's true. I don't think all kids have that though. I think some do, and some certainly don't. There are those that will just, for example, my middle child, and to call her that now, loves to watch me in pain. She is fascinated when somebody gets hurt, and it's not empathy. It is, oh, does that hurt you? Does that hurt you? Whereas my oldest is very empathetic. She does not like seeing anybody in pain. So one of them has it, the other certainly does not.
I suddenly feel like a Hannibal Lecter analysis is appropriate at this moment, but we're going to move on. Another common trait of Pleiadian light warriors is that Pleiadian Starseeds tend to be true humanitarians. They are drawn to helping in some way, shape, or form, and they realize the world could be better. They're drawn to helping people, animals, children, charities, any worthwhile causes that they can find. So true humanitarians, I can attest, that definitely reminds me of CJ. Lucy, does this seem to have been a theme throughout your life, being a humanitarian?
Yeah, sorry, you froze then.
That's okay. I was just commenting about how a trait common of a lot of Pleiadian Starseeds is being a true humanitarian. They just try to make the world better and help whoever or whatever that they can. People, animals, children, charities, etc.
Yeah, that's true. Since a young age as a child, I've always wanted to save the world, save all the animals, the children, the people, even Mother Earth. We can't do enough for people and charities and helping them. I've always, if someone's suffering or hungry, I would go hungry for them and give them some food and money. And this is just how humanitarian we are. So compassionate beings.
We need more of those compassionate beings on this earth. My goodness, everything would be so much easier if people were willing to help one another.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listener Sandra said she needs to be alone sometimes. That's the way she likes to hike alone or sleep in another room alone. Needs to cleanse the house from all negative energies. I'm assuming negative energies. She has to be careful about what kind of energy she's putting into her aura, but because she can read people very easily, I should say. Amy Fredsum says Pleiadians are helping humanity evolve in so many ways. Great sentiment. There's certainly nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I can feel that. Honestly, just in the last interview and in this interview, I can really feel that. It just feels like the supportive community nature of this group it's very addicting almost. I mean, who wouldn't want to be around such supportive, positive, loving people? I definitely feel that energy for sure.
Oh, for sure. And longtime listener Edward Willikins says, if we watch the TV Hi, Edward. Great longtime listener. If you watch the TV show Manifest, he says, it talks about a group of people going onto an airplane, vanishes 5 years later. They come back, and they kind of have this, otherworldly intuition and different things going on. I'm actually 3 episodes into Manifest, so I'm going to have to cut this comment off right there, but it is pretty interesting. Have either of you seen the show Manifest?
No, that I absolutely have not even heard of it. No. Don't watch a whole lot of TV.
That's okay. Segue here. One of the characters on Manifest is a doctor, and interestingly, another common trait of Pleiadian Starseeds is that they tend to be into the healing arts, and it can be things like Reiki, which I'm not exactly familiar with, color
Reiki.
therapy. What do you say, Reiki?
I think it's Reiki.
Reiki, color therapy, and counseling, to name a few, but also writing, journaling, blogging, counseling, childcare, Reiki, sacred geometry, crystal healing, heart chakra healing, medical services, etc. I feel like I was naming off a set of CJ hobbies there, as a matter of fact.
Some of them. What was the geometry one?
Sacred geometry, and I have to admit,
I've never heard of that. Lucy, do you know what sacred geometry is? That's new to me.
Yeah, but I can't answer that. But I can answer about, we're all good healers as well, energy healers. So in the future, we might not need doctors because it's all about energy. And we're here to assist humanity into 5D ascension, and we can heal people ourselves.
That's wonderful. And that's what a lot of Reiki is too, right? It's using energy to heal the human body. Yeah. Maybe we have a listener that can explain what the sacred geometry is. That seems super interesting to me. I would love to know what that is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put this out there. If we have any listeners that could talk on sacred geometry for just a little while, I will add you to the broadcast. Let me know. I will add you to the broadcast. I don't want to comment because I have a mathematical background. I have taught mathematics on multiple levels. I have a minor in mathematics. We did have a listener comment about sacred geometry. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I don't know if she wants to... Actually, I don't think I can add them to literally to the broadcast. But listener Jerminder Cower says sacred geometry is very important to ancient healing modalities. Many of us healers will remember. Thank you for that.
You have to be butchering these names. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say sorry to everybody out there that you have Tim from Mississippi trying to pronounce your names. He's doing the best he can.
Well, I can say this listener's last name, Misha Joy, says sacred geometry is the building blocks of all creation. I love that. That kind of reminds me of an answer that a physicist would tell us. So I love that. Who's the physicist we love, CJ? Wrote Astrophysics for People in a Hurry.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's right. So Misha Joy totally reminds me of a Neil deGrasse Tyson answer. Anita Porin says sacred geometry is the language of the universe. Now we're talking. I think I'm getting a sense for this. You know, Einstein spent a great deal of his life looking for a universal theory of everything, an equation that could tie all of the universe together. And of course, some of you that know me know I love Einstein. And Einstein was so close. He was certainly dealing in the language of the universe. A lot of times, if Einstein wanted to explore certain things in his mind, he would literally try to think of how a celestial or higher power would have to do things to make them work. And that's how he would figure things out. So theoretical mind experiments, go into other realms and talking with higher powers and how they dealt with things. And that's how Einstein translated, these universal themes into mathematics and into physics and into equations and theories. And I love it. It all ties together wonderfully. Another interesting trait, CJ and Lucy, of starseeds, they tend to love spirituality, astrology, astronomy, metaphysics, and space.
That's correct, yeah.
I can certainly say that as I get older, I find myself far more interested in those things. Growing up, I didn't really look to the sky ever or ponder beyond this earth, but as I get older, I'm more and more interested in astronomy and astrophysics and things of that nature. How about you, Lucy?
Yes. It started with me just staring up at the stars. I still do it every night. I'm just obsessed with looking at the sky and the stars and the night sky, the moon. That's my favourite thing to do.
It does bring so much peace, doesn't it? Just to look out beyond yourself.
It does, yeah.
And see. But we definitely have a common theme with every guest that comes on this show, which is that they're always looking up. They're always looking up to the sky. They're always looking outside themselves. They're not staring at their phones. They're out in nature. They're connected with the world. And they're seeing things that other people don't see. And the people that don't see them think that these people are making it up or that it's not true. But the reality is, most people aren't looking. And that's why they're not seeing. And so the fact that you go outside every night and you look up to the sunset and you look up to the stars, you're going to see things that other people won't see because they're not looking.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, for sure. You know, we're talking with special guest Lucy Castle from the UK, UFO witness, Pleiadian Starseed, and Light Warrior. We're talking about traits of starseeds. One thing Lucy mentioned to us off the air is she would love to talk a little bit about one of our favorite topics on the show, and it just happens to be a characteristic of Pleiadian starseeds, is that they are good with children and animals. And what better animal for us to talk about for just a brief moment here than Bigfoot? Hold with us. What have you thought about Bigfoot so far?
Yeah, sorry, you froze there.
That's okay. I was just saying how you told us off the air that you would love to get into Bigfoot with us.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of research about Bigfoot, and I connect with my Pleiadian spirit guides a lot on my higher self, and it has become a lot about this, but the Bigfoots, or Yeti as you call them, are from the planet Maldek. And they're actually fourth dimensional primate creatures, and they are from the Maldek and brought to Earth after the planet Maldek was destroyed.
Oh,
that's why you can never. That's why you can never catch
them in the UK. Oh, what term do you use for them in the UK?
They're known here as Bigfoot.
Oh, they are. Okay. And so is it as? Sorry, go ahead.
They are part of a certain evolution that went parallel to the evolution of the surface of humanity. They connected to the inner earth, but some live on the surface of the earth, and they're here simply to experience life here. But they can disappear, which is like switch to another dimension, which is why you can't catch them. And why they're switching to another dimension and just disappearing, there's big cracking and crashing sounds. That's also reported. And that's when they're disappearing.
Oh, I heard a very loud sound the other night and wondered what it was. So we had some people on the show not too long ago from Board Camp Crystal Mine, and they had some similar theories on Bigfoot as well. Native, but I can't remember what they called Bigfoot. Did I cut out?
You did for a little while, but the folks with the Board Camp Crystal Mine, the Native Americans referred to them as the forest people.
Forest people, that's right. But they had some similar theories on why they couldn't be caught and why they were disappearing in different dimensions and what have you. So clearly that theory holds true across the globe. in terms of Bigfoot. But is it as much of a cultural phenomenon there as it is here? I mean, anywhere you go that's sort of in the woods, you're going to see Bigfoot signs and Bigfoot crossing and Bigfoot shops, and Dr. Mounce writes Bigfoot children's stories that are very popular. I mean, it's a very popular topic in the United States. Do you feel that way in the UK too?
It's not popular here at all. No.
Really? There's no folklore or anything like that? Any stories?
No, just everything's from America, Bigfoot. That's all we hear from. It's always America.
Oh, wow.
It's never here.
Yeah, I mean, there are museums dedicated here.
The Mounce planet is between Mars and Jupiter, but it no longer exists. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is the remains of the Maldek that you'd see. But they're here to reflect on their past, away from their technologies, and they're just full of wisdom and peace. They don't want to be disturbed, and
here we are trying to disturb them every day.
But you know what? I'm glad you said that, Lucy, because number one, another characteristic common to Pleiadian Starseeds and Light Warriors is that they are gentle in nature. Pleiadians carry an old, gentle energy. It can be likened to a grandmother's nurturing aura. And I want to take that to another level. Not only are they gentle in nature, but they're gentle literally in nature. So in the forest, on the ocean, on the water, in the sky, they're gentle to nature and in nature. Number two, we have a lot of shows that are popular here in the U.S. right now of folks that actually hunt Bigfoots and other cryptids and other creatures like that. And I have to say that that is not the way I think things should be done. I do not think that shooting Bigfoot, for example, is the way to go, and I much prefer the Pleiadian viewpoint of how to exist in nature. I have to ask you, Lucy, are you anywhere near Oxmoor? Are you familiar with the town of Oxmoor?
I am familiar with Oxmoor, yeah.
So I've always heard, growing up, and I watched a lot of shows on this, about the Beast of Oxmoor. Do you have any...
Dartmoor, do you mean?
Oh, of Dartmoor?
There's a Beast of Dartmoor, which is in Devon. Or you can call it the Beast of Bodmin Moor, as they call it.
Oh, what do you know about this beast?
There has been some sightings, and it looks a bit like a jaguar.
Yes, like a black panther.
Like a black panther, yeah.
Yes, so CJ, the UK seems to be plagued or haunted, as it were, by black panther type of creatures. Very interesting. Lucy, have you ever had any encounters yourself with these?
No, I haven't.
Well, I think this will be a good time for me to say that I have actually been to the town of Inverness and out on Loch Ness hunting for Nessie, but not hunting in a malicious way, but looking for Nessie myself out on Loch Ness.
Did you have any luck?
Well, I tell you what, I did figure a couple of things out. First thing I figured out was Nessie brand beer is pretty good. It's not bad.
Oh. We'll
Number
call
two,
that a win.
I know. I figured out that the abundance of Nessie brand beer on Nessie watch tours perhaps contributes to sightings. And number three, it's pretty good, strong beer. And number three, I could tell you that that Loch Ness, though, itself, it seems to perpetually be engulfed in a spooky, creepy fog or mist. It doesn't matter if it's high noon, if it's midnight. It's just creepy and spooky out there. And it's deep, it's dark. You know, you kind of feel isolated. It's cold, and you got this creepy mist, which reminds me of a lot of Stephen King stories here in America. And you know, if you have a few of those Nessie beers, your imagination starts running away with you, and you can kind of, you know, totally feel like, hey, what's creeping up on me out of the mist out here?
I have to enjoy me one of those Nessie beers from the safety of my hotel room.
I'm sure they sell them online, so we need to order some up for the show. Oh, this is a nice comment from listener Michael Schmidt. Says, I see a radiant mother full of love with her cosmic child in her divine arms.
Aw, that makes me want to cry. Here I said I wasn't sensitive.
Don't do it.
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful comment.
That comment reminds me of the Da Vinci Code, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah? Which my dad is reading currently. I love that book.
He's reading the first one, the Da Vinci Code.
He's reading the Da Vinci Code. Angels and Demons was the first one, wasn't it?
No, the Da Vinci Code was the first one.
No, I'm gonna argue you on that one.
Maybe Angels and Demons, but I think the Da Vinci Code was the first, most popular one. How about that?
Yes, that is true.
Right, so it totally reminds me of the Da Vinci Code. And I also, Lucy, got to visit the town of Roslyn in the UK, Roslyn, Scotland, and visit Roslyn Chapel of Da Vinci Code fame. And just, wow, mind blown. I was completely enamored, and I'm totally thinking, like, okay, I know the Ark of the Covenant's in here somewhere. Where is it? Let me at it.
Yeah, that's definitely a famous chapel. That's an incredible place to go visit. I'll have to put that on my to-do list.
Well, speaking of to-do list, another common trait of Pleiadian Starseeds is they tend to be perfectionist.
Ooh. Would you consider yourself a perfectionist, Lucy?
There's things I do and organise and plan. It has to be perfect. If it's not, I'm not happy.
Yes, I have a lot of that in me as well. I think the less free time I have, the more I have to let that go. It's very hard to do. It's hard to let go of the perfectionism, but yeah, certainly that lives within me in a strong way.
Oh, yeah.
For many aspects of my life.
I can attest to that. Oh, and I'm going to add a comment there that you may want to see. CJ from listener
hey, Bill.
Wow, Bill.
Bill's part of my mama's group. He is the wonderful grandfather of one of my friend's daughters. Super sweet.
Oh, awesome. So I just had to say that, number one, again, I'm on the 20th level of Dante's Inferno up here, which is the third floor of the All Things Unexplained studios, whose air conditioner is currently out. I'm sweating bullets up here, people, drinking my Pim's cup.
You can go to buymeacoffee.com/unexplained and actually buy Tim an air conditioning unit.
Yeah. Yes. And my Pim's cup is like, it went from a frosty 31 degrees to it's like 80 degrees now. But I have to say, I can attest to CJ's perfectionism. You know, just last night we have an All Things Unexplained volleyball team, believe it or not, sand volleyball team. And we won 2 out of 3 sets last night, so we won the match. We won 2 out of 3 sets, pretty good. And CJ was so hard on herself. She's like, I played so terrible. I said, no, you didn't, CJ. We won. We won 2 out of 3. Your passing was on point. Your setting was fine. I know you missed a few hits, but you played great. She said, no, I played terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
Total
Got
perfectionist.
lots of room to go.
Another common trait of Pleiadian Starseeds that might be interesting to our listeners and Lucy and CJ is they tend to be people pleasers, often to their own detriment. Pleiadian Starseeds are people pleasers. Their gentle, loving energy can be taken as being weak in a highly masculine society. Sounds like my cue to slide out of the picture for a little while.
Did you say people pleasers, Tim? Is that what you said?
People pleasers.
Okay. Do you feel that way, Lucy?
No, I'd be pleased if I help people. It's not the other way around. I don't do it to please other people. I do it to please myself. I think some things and traits that you can read online can misinterpreted the wrong way.
Right.
But
Okay, well, that's a good way to be.
And
So for others that are listening right now of traits, do they ring true for you guys too? Or are there some we haven't listed that ring true to you? In terms of being a people pleaser, I don't know for myself. I'm not sure that I can answer that. I don't know yet. I'll have to do some more introspection.
well, I could tell you the listeners really seem to identify and associate with these traits that I've researched on Pleiadian Starseeds. And I'm so interested to have you two on either side of me. CJ from the US on my left, Lucy from the UK on my right, because we hear so much about the US male-dominated power structure and the Great Britain male-dominated aristocracy. So I'm really interested to get your two viewpoints on being perceived as weak and what could be a highly masculine society, one the US, one the UK.
That's a loaded question. Yeah,
Go for it.
Society, but think about how much more beautiful our society would be if people were thinking about others and trying to make others happy and putting others' needs first and helping each other out. I feel like it would be such a more efficient society, but that's not the way things work currently.
no, we're all one. It's not about just feminine energy and masculine energy. We all have, even men, they have feminine energy. Women have masculine side of energy in them as well. It's the balance that we have in our energy fields.
Right, and so I really want to know, and I'm going to have to dig a little bit here, I guess. Lucy and CJ, have you ever felt inappropriately labeled as weak in what some have deemed male-dominated societies? Societies that elevate characteristics such as aggression.
I'm going to say no because I can also be aggressive when I need to be. And Lucy, you said yes. You have felt that way?
Yes, there's been times when people can label me and be a bit unkind to me, but then I just look at them as they need inner healing, they need help, they need people like us to help them to do that inner healing work. That's all it is. I don't blame the people for what they say. Sometimes it's not their fault if they've got inner healing to do.
Yes.
Because that alone causes division in humanity, and we don't want to cause division in humanity anymore, the 5D Earth. We're all one. And there's people out there that have fear, anger, jealousy, and they're all different type of ego energies in them, low energies, that we need to help them raise their vibrations into high energies of self-love and compassion to all sentimental beings, divine beings. And then they won't attack other people then, because they have self-love for themselves.
Right.
So, Lucy, for those that are listening, that again, your message is really resonating with them, and maybe they haven't identified as a Pleiadian Starseed yet, where could they go to get support? Where could they go to learn more? Is there a book that you read? Was there a group that you joined? How did you get to where you are in your life currently?
Well, I found out who I was years ago. I just connected with other spiritual people, and they helped me, and I joined other different starseed groups and star mass meeting groups on Facebook. I learnt more then, and I got in touch with my higher self, my soul purpose, listen to my intuition, listen to your higher self, divine Mother, Father, God. And it all comes in from then. It's all like a puzzle that fits into place.
So it sounds like there are online resources that people could go to, Facebook groups that they could join to learn more and explore more for themselves.
Yes, there's lots of spirituality groups on Facebook, as well as starseed groups.
Wonderful. Tim,
That's
you're sweating
great.
bullets in there.
I know. I mean, it is so hot up here. Holy moly. But I wanted to tell everybody that you're listening to the number 34 podcast on the U.S. science charts. Just below Bill Nye the Science Guy, who I think is British, as a matter of fact. If he's not, we will let Britain borrow him for a little while and claim him as British. We might not be number 34 anymore, but since we were there at one time, we're going to be able to claim it for infinity until we surpass number 34 with the help of listeners like you. Speaking of help from listeners like you, you can check us out at buymeacoffee.com/unexplained or patreon.com/all things unexplained. Please check us out everywhere on social media. If you'll go to all things-unexplained, you can find links for our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please, wherever you listen to podcasts, I hope you will check out Lucy's podcast. When it is released, it will be in just a couple of weeks. Follow, rate, and review. Check out my Bigfoot-themed children's books, one of which was a #1 new release on Amazon, one of which was a #2 Amazon bestseller at squatching.com. But we're joined by Lucy Castle, UFO Witness, Pleiadian Starseed, and Light Warrior tonight. My co-host CJ Dearinger and her star child they're kind enough to join us. I really want to dig a little deeper, if that's okay. Lucy, I loved what you had to say about when you encountered, negativity in society and people giving you a hard time, maybe labeling you as weak, not giving you credit for being strong. Have either of you ever encountered bullying in your lives?
I've never been
Absolutely.
bullied, but I've seen people being bullied.
Yeah, bullying is so ugly. It's so awful to witness. I would say only once in my life did I experience it, and I'm thankful it was only once, and I was young, and it was from a friend, actually, and yeah, it was not enjoyable. So to watch it happen to other people is really heart-wrenching.
Right, and we were talking about how Pleiadians tend to be people pleasers, and I think it really ties into something we talked about last episode with Lucy. Is this notion of fear in our society. It used to be that we tended to believe that we have nothing to fear but fear itself, as someone once said, right? And one of my favorite Bible verses, whether you're religious or not, I think it has deep meaning to it. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall feel no evil. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And that's used to be how we approached life. right? Like, to be brave and strong, to embrace our fear, but you turn it around and go forward. But it seems like in today's society, that's the exact opposite. You know, we have so much bullying, so much inducement of fear in each other. All we have to do is open any news outlet, and almost every story is something we are told to be afraid of. Lucy, from a Pleiadian standpoint, how do we address fear in our lives?
How do we, as like individually, how do I address fear?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think it has to start on an individual
Oh,
level, right? Like, and then it becomes something
yeah.
else.
Yeah. Well, for me, two things. Number one, I avoid things that I think are going to be fear-inducing. I don't watch scary movies. I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to much of that at all. I don't read the news. I just kind of keep away from it because I feel like if I can stay positive on my own, I don't really need anything else being fed to me. And also, I personally use a lot of positive affirmations. I'll listen to things that tell me how great I am or how strong I am or how capable I am, or meditation or what have you. How we as a society address fear, I don't know. I can't answer that one. I don't know.
Yeah, going back to
What's
these
your
bullies, that they need inner healing themselves. These people are troubled with all these low energies around them all the time. It's going back to being programmed in the matrix, all these low bad energies, and it's making people have fear and anger and be unkind to other people on this planet, animals. And it's just, they need healing, they need our help. So people like us are the light. We set an example on humanity, as in how to be, to show the light, to help them as people, to stop them fearing, do the inner work. One of the good things is meditation, that we recommend, and that's establishing a connection to your higher self and your heart as a mind balance of each other's energies. The higher mind is capable of identifying your lower characteristics like greed, ego, obsession, and your higher self will make it clear to you of these things, and it will show you to let these lower energies go by acting on them. So I do highly recommend meditation to helping people like that.
Absolutely. And, you know, CJ asked what, or said she didn't know what we could do as a society. And I tend to be of the belief that there's nothing we can do as a society. And hear me out. Here's what I mean. I think that it is up to us as individuals to deal with fear and to tap in to these Pleiadian traits of kindness and love. And that is through the individual actions of people like Lucy Castle, of people like listener Antonia Arsic, who has been loyally following our shows with Lucy, of people like all our listeners on this show who have been so full of positive comments, that through these thousands and millions of individual actions of kindness and living in the right way and tapping into these Pleiadian traits, I think that's where a seismic shift in society takes place. I think we are fools to believe that some politician has the answer for how society is going to change for the better. I think that I would be crazy to look up to, a politician or a scientist for how to behave and how to live my life. If you're familiar with the novel by George Orwell, 1984, I recommend all of you to check this novel out. It is so prophetic, and one of the things it says the greatest enemy of a powerful government, a government that wants us to be afraid, that wants to tell us what to think, wants to tell us how to live, what to do, what group to identify with. The greatest enemy of these governments and these people in power are individuals with common sense that can do 1 + 1 is 2 for themselves. And they don't need anybody else telling them how they're supposed to be, what group they're supposed to be in. Something really scary from that novel is it said the government at some point would tell people that 1 + 1 is 3. And you want to know what was frightening about this prophetic vision? Is that people would believe it. They were no longer capable of thinking for themselves, for having common sense, for interpreting what their eyes could see right before them. They believed lies wherever they came from. Lucy and CJ.
Right. And there's been so many comments about fear. Sorry. There's been so many comments about bullying and fear that have popped up as I've been trying to manage all of these things right here. But one thing that was said is that people fear what they don't understand, right? And it seems like people tend to bully people that they don't understand, that people that are different or that come from different backgrounds.
Right, and we lost CJ for just a moment there. Listener Judy Castro said, people who have unconditional love coming forth to themselves and others are the ones to look up to. Good point, Dr. Mounce. Thank you, Judy. Politicians are not to be followed. I do believe politicians play a role in this in all societies. I think that it's very hard for anyone to want to be a politician these days in the era of social media and in today's environment that we live in. But I think their most important roles are things like safety, keeping society safe and providing protection and things of that nature. What do we not need them for? We do not need them for things like how to be an individual. We don't need them to tell us what group to associate with, what religion to be or not to be, what to be afraid of. We do not need politicians for this. Give me clean water, shelter is fine, protection from invasion, but, don't intrude on my life and tell me what to fear, what not to fear, what group I'm a part of, etc. I don't think we need that.
You're doing a good job holding down the fort with those monologues, Tim.
Oh, thanks. I actually thought we lost CJ. Boom, she's back.
Sorry.
So one last thing here.
I heard it all.
In terms of traits, or typical traits. Oh, thank you, Judy. She said, thank you. Please quit stealing from the people. That's exactly right. I'm going to go on just another short monologue here before I get on to the last trait of that Pleiadian Starseeds tend to have. Just a small monologue here. Judy, bear with me. I have said for quite a while here in the United States, I'm honestly really not sure exactly how things work in the UK, but in the United States, give me a politician who said, I will get rid of the IRS. And what you have earned is yours. The money you have made is yours to keep. The property you have, it's your property. The valuable baseball cards that you've collected through the years since your childhood are yours for me not to put a tax on. The beloved comic books that you have read since the time you could read, from Stan the Man Lee on, those they're worth a lot of money. You want to retire on those? They're yours. Just give me a politician that says we're not going to take a piece of that. We're going to get rid of the IRS. What you as an individual, what you're earning, what you have made out of your life, it's yours to keep. It's yours to flourish with. Equal representation for no taxation. Give me a politician that tells me that. They got my vote. I won't care what political background they are. I won't care what religious background they are. I won't care what gender they are. I won't care what gender they aren't. It doesn't matter. They'll have my vote, but you know what? Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath, people in the United States or Great Britain or any other country, when you hear a politician say that. But George Winters, long-time listener, George Winters, I'm sorry you had to...
The heat up in your third story is getting you all worked up there.
He said, hey, guys, hey, George, long-time listener. I want to get into the last trait here. It's almost time to go. Of Pleiadian Starseeds. They could be a water sign. We're talking Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Lucy and CJ, what have y'all got over there?
Well, I'm a Libra, so...
No, you froze again.
No.
That's okay, being a Libra. I think it said it could be. I don't think this scale is all-encompassing. I think it's more like, how many of these things match you. Lucy, we were talking about what astrological sign that Pleiadian starseeds tend to have in common. What astrological sign are you, Lucy?
I'm Aquarius.
Okay, great. You know what? I feel like Aquarius should be a water sign. Don't y'all? Am I wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone gets confused.
It does sound like it should be a water sign.
I'm going to go with it is. But you know what? This is so interesting because out of all these traits, this is my first match. This is my first match. With being a potential starseed, I have literally been the complete opposite of every trait until now. But I did have a piece of advice.
That doesn't mean you can't work on these traits, by the way.
No, you're right. It doesn't mean I can't work on these traits. It's going to start with finding someone that can replace the air conditioner in the All Things Unexplained studio. And maybe start some hot yoga classes up here. Try to work with my, turn problems into solutions. That's what I want to try to do. I did have a piece of advice for CJ and Lucy and our listeners here that think they could be a Pleiadian starseed themselves. This was for the fact that we discovered Pleiadians tend to be people pleasers, right? Lucy and CJ, you both identified as a people pleaser, right?
To a point.
So, well, one thing that my research revealed is, get this, one lesson Pleiadians must learn is that no is a complete sentence. If you're going to suffer because of it, you shouldn't do that. And I think we all have known people in their lives who, no matter how much it puts them out, it doesn't matter. They're going to help their neighbor or their friend out.
Yeah, I suffer from that, for sure. You're very good at saying no. You've got that one down.
Well, sometimes it's also not just no, but my phone was broken. Internet was out. Those kind of things, but that's been going on since the dawn of man, right?
Yes, but we are super thankful that Lucy said yes when we asked her to come on this show again. So we appreciate the one word of yes this time around, because it has been an absolute pleasure to have you and all of the other listeners and commenters that have joined us for today's show. Is there anything that you would say we didn't cover with Tim's extensive list there that we went through that people should know about Pleiadian starseeds or light warriors?
I could say more about with the meditation. It will help you of a sense of calm as well, peace and balance, and as well as benefiting emotional and overall health at the same time. And just like I was saying, it's a powerful gateway of connecting with your higher self, with the brain waves of different frequencies, and it's all about the energy. And it's just a beautiful work of ways spirituality is, and self-awareness as we know it, which allows access of higher realms, inner and outer cosmic spiritual energies and knowledge at the same time. But this is all what we need to do for the ascension of Mother Earth as she's moving into the new Earth of Age of Aquarius. Mother Earth has been in lower frequency for such a long time, and a lot of people in the humanity have too. But now it's changing, and as the Age of Aquarius has begun, Mother Earth is ascending into higher dimensions, so we must ascend with her to keep our vibrations high and unconditional love for all beings.
I love that. And what type of, is there a specific type of meditation that you do?
There's all different types of meditations you can do. There's many I do, quite on a regular basis.
Yeah. I have to use guided meditations. I haven't quite gotten to the place where I can just sit on my own and meditate. I need somebody constantly reminding me to breathe and focus on my breath and draw me back in. Otherwise, I find my mind going to 1,000 different places. So the guided
best
meditation.
way to just keep your mind at rest, block everything out, and do some breathing exercises. And all through your meditation, just concentrating on your breathing, you in and out deeply, and keep your mind focused on just your breathing and nothing else, and see what comes to you from your higher self, what visions you get. You might see colours, you might see a whole big visionary of something played out. But it's all about practice. It's a beautiful part of spirituality, as well as Mother, Father, God.
Well, once again, we are so thankful to you and to all of our listeners and to my little baby for being so good during this show. Didn't know how that was going to go, so that worked out. And if you haven't yet, please do follow us on social media. You can follow us wherever you listen to your podcast. That's All Things Unexplained. You can check out our website or head to buymeacoffee.com/unexplained. As we mentioned earlier, we do keep all of our shows free, and the only way we can keep going is through the support of our listeners. So if you are feeling like you want to support us today, please do visit that buymeacoffee.com/unexplained.
Thank you, Lucy. Thanks, CJ.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me back to talk again of the disclosure and Mother Earth Ascension. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Our pleasure. And we can't wait to put it out as a podcast in the next few weeks for everybody to listen to again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
And we would love to have you back again soon, Lucy.
Yes, I'd love to come back again.
That's
I'd be
great.
very grateful.
That's great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Happy Pimm's Cup night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All Things Unexplained.
What's your hot take on Travis Taylor?
I've got an exclusive for you guys if you want it about the Alaska.
We do.
Okay.
Dr. Taylor was revealed to be the chief scientist of the UAP task force with the Pentagon.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.
All Things Unexplained is free to watch on YouTube and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to support our show, you can visit our YouTube store. Additionally, you can find us on Venmo under All Things Unexplained. be sure to check out our website, allthingsunexplained.com. All proceeds from the sales of Dr. Mounce's books on Amazon and Audible also go straight to our show.